mechanism through which the processes of ideological legitimization surrounding capital expansion reinforce development inequities or the inequalities. Reinforce development inequalities between Eastern and Western Europe. In this context, it will be argued that Eastern European comprador elites have been afforded elevated social status, often serving as intermediaries between foreign capital owners and the local population. This mechanism, which will be analyzed within the Edward Science perspective of Orientalism, tends to perpetuate capital asymmetries between core and peripheral areas. So basically, the scope, he defines the scope of his discussion with the embassy. Many of us find this not familiar. You come from a different region. Many of us here don't know very well what is going on in Poland, in Eastern Europe. Now, you've been saying in our conversation that also the tension between Eastern Europe and Western Europe. So I think we can expect to hear from Dr. Rafal with many interesting things. But of course, what connects us in him, I think, is the Edward Sign factor. Just wonder how Edward Sign can enter into the picture. All the way from Poland telling her, no, we can apply Edward Sign's Orientalism to the problem at hand. So, Dr. Rafa, I think you can speak up to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we have more than 1 hour to discuss. And the main idea is so that we have good discussion. We will learn to know basically your perspectives on this. What is basically is not simply a regional issue, but a global issue from which we here in Malaysia can learn from your studies and research. Yeah? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I should express my gratitude for this invitation, for giving this talk to Professor Osman. We haven't been seen for some time. We met first time at the university in Brunei. Many years ago, I think it was like 2015 or something like this. Yeah, I think so. And since then, we saw each other here in Kuala Lumpur. Later, COVID came. Things got disrupted, obviously, not only among us globally, but disrupted. And now the occasion came. I was visiting a conference in Bangkok, so I thought, given the relatively cheap flights offered by AirAsia, I could come for a day or two, and this is what happened. So I'm very happy to see Osman and you. Again, this is great pleasure, great town, great people. Good to be here. I will give you a certain little exercise in think, even though it is attached to its regional empirical context. Obviously, I will be talking about Eastern European, in fact, Polish, yes, because I will be using as a point of reference a Polish case of post-communist transformation taking place in this country. And it starts with my studying of the peculiarity of the Polish elites, yes, because I'm not talking about everything, it is impossible. In order to give something inspiring and meaningful and not vague, you need to be focused. So I will be trying to give you a flavor about the mechanism, how Polish elites manage to legitimize global capital expansion into Eastern Europe after the communist fall, which petrified economic asymmetries between Western core countries and Eastern semi-peripheries. Because in fact, Eastern Europe, at least according to the classical studies proposed by Immanuel Wallerstein, the world system theory, there are, as we know, these three general categories of the world system. Core countries, where the capital is being accumulated, peripheries and semi-peripheries. And Poland and Eastern Europe is generally perceived as semi-peripheral. So I am concerned, and one thing is in order to explain. When I'm talking about Eastern Europe, I'm thinking about three countries or four countries, generally speaking. Poland, Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Hungary. Okay, we are not talking about Russia. Russia is entirely different type of state with its own premises of civilizational projects, economic projects, but also in terms of the sociological studies, different social stratification, different social hierarchies, different history. And in political terms, this is, as we know, revisionist, neo-imperial type of policies, which is also different for Eastern European countries of small sized or medium sized. So I'm talking here mainly about the Polish case. So when I'm thinking about the Orientalism, I'm thinking this in applying this classical concept of Edward Said here to Eastern European countries. I'm thinking about using Orientalist strategies, that is ordering here,